Dolphins fans, what is going on? It's Ben Morgan, Fins Up Network, back today with some mock draft action. The caveat being this time, I talked about it in the last mock draft, wanted to do one where trades are involved. We only got the 4 picks in the draft. We got a second, a third, a sixth, and a seventh. So I'd like to accumulate some more draft capital, see where that takes us in this year's draft. So what my goal is, obviously, we got that pick at 51 in the second round. There's probably 2-3 guys where if they're on the board, slam dunk, I am making that pick. If one of those guys isn't on the board, I'm for sale. I can trade that pick, but my goal would be in today's mock, land a guy that I really like at 51, then try to trade that pick in the third round. Accumulate a little bit more draft capital. We don't need to go crazy, but I want more than 4 picks. So let's see how that goes. I'm going to be using the NFL mock draft database simulator, I should say. But as always, if there's a different direction you would have gone, a different trade you would have taken, a different prospect that you would have selected, go ahead, let me know in the comments. Curious to see the directions that you guys would have gone as well. Going to share my screen, going to fire this thing up, and let's see if any of those guys falls to the Miami Dolphins at number 51 overall. Like I said, there's a specific running back, there's a specific tight end that I've kind of got on my mind. So we'll see if either of those fall. And guess what? I see them on my board. So that's an intriguing offer. It's a lot of 24 picks. However, I'm going to be a man of my word. And I told you, there's a specific tight end, there's a specific running back. And guess what? My running back didn't make it. Jahmyr Gibbs, which is all fine and well, because my 1B, I'll call him, is Darnell Washington. The things that he can provide in the passing game, in the run game, essentially as an added offensive lineman at 6'7", just a freak athlete, makes other big guys look small. He's one of my slam dunk picks. If he falls to the Dolphins at 51, don't hate that whatsoever. I'm actually all in on that, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm just going to make that pick. And what I'm going to try to do now is trade that pick in the third. That's my goal. That's what I came in here saying I was trying to do. So let's see if any offers come in. And we got 4 offers. This one is a load of 24 picks, which isn't bad, but for the sake of trying to accumulate more picks in the 23 draft, I'm likely going to reject most of them that have anything to do with 24. A load here from the Texans. But here we go. Well, that's a lot of 24 picks, but I'm kind of focused on being able to get an extra 4th and a 5th. So I don't mind this at all. Let us take a peek at who did last to the Dolphins here, just to get an idea. We'll take a peek at the big board. So if I'm picking here, obviously A-Chain is pretty high on my list. If he would fall to the Dolphins there, I wouldn't hate that whatsoever. We already addressed the tight end position, but I still like Tucker Kraft. Sidney Brown really has my eye. So I'm not opposed really to taking any of those guys. However, with the idea, trying to accumulate more capital and trying to deal that third round pick, let's go ahead and accept it. And we'll see how things play out. Now we're going to wait, though. Obviously, that happens. We're going to be limiting the player pool that we're selecting from. But in what's considered a fairly deep draft, I'm not opposed to doing that. Now, we'll go position by position real quick, just so you can see which direction you may have went as well. Obviously, we still have a need at left guard. I love some of the linebackers there. The fact that Overshown fell to us, spoiler alert, I really like him. He's probably going to be my pick there. Defensive line, we'll move over to some cornerbacks because this is a tough pick for me. Because if you've been following along with Fins Up Network, you know I'm a big Jalen Jones fan as well. He's not perfect by any means, but he's a taller corner that can exceed and excel in his zone coverage. So he's got my eye as well. If you wanted to go running back, Tyjae Spears is still available. If you wanted to look at the offensive line, still got a couple of guys. No one that's really popping off there for me. Do want to look at safety. However, with that said, I still think the Dolphins could and should address the position of linebacker. And I classify Overshown as a violent linebacker. Good sideline to sideline speed, a former safety, a guy that can lay the wood, a guy that is not, he's not solidified at the position. He's a little bit raw yet. It would be great if he could add on a little bit more weight, a little bit more strength. Like I said, I'm not going to do a huge dive into these prospects right now. That's for what my draft player profiles are for. I already did one on Overshown. So go back and check that out if you haven't yet. But he's going to be my pick at 118, and that's kind of a slam dunk for me. I love this draft the way it's working out so far. And I know I've ignored offensive line so far. It is what it is. Those that I'm going, for the most part, I usually go best player available. And right now, offensive lineman just didn't shake out the way it did. But by adding Washington, you sort of help the offensive line as well. If he were to contribute already from day one, like I said, already offering Tua extra protection with his ability to block in both the pass and run game. I'm going to reject that offer. I'm going to reject that one. We got one left, mostly 24 picks. So let's make this pick count. Still, okay, here we go. Couple of running backs that made their way to us. I like both Kenny McIntosh and Chase Brown. I was pretty high on Kenny McIntosh for a while. I've sort of cooled off. I actually think I like Chase Brown a little bit better now. Like I said, we'll continue to go through here. Stromberg made it from Arkansas. We wouldn't have went linebacker. Still got a couple of options there. We wouldn't have went tight end. Brenton Strange, Dolphins are linked to him. He still would have made it. Defensive line. Let's see what cornerbacks made it. So Riley Moss still made it as well. It's not as pressing of a need, obviously, now that we have Jalen Ramsey. But still intrigued by the idea of adding another cornerback to the mix. We know we need some depth there. Obviously, we talked about the running backs. Wanya Morris is still available. I wouldn't mind if, like I said, if you guys disagree with the route I go, let me know in the comments which player would you have gone with. I don't mind Morris there at all. But I like the idea that Chase Brown fell to us. I'm going to be doing a profile on him. I'm actually doing a profile on his brother, Sidney Brown, who plays safety. That'll probably come out either tomorrow or the next day. But that's a story for another day. I'm going to go ahead and take the running back. I'm going to take Chase Brown. And now we're going to sit for pick 197. At this point in the draft, you're drafting projects. We're not obviously drafting anything for need here. I am going to reject that trade. You're drafting guys that maybe you've got a little bit of a need for right now, but at the end of the day, you see something in and you can hopefully continue to try to develop. We already took tight end. Otherwise, the two would have been a good option. Let's just go position by position. That's kind of the easiest way to do this. Stromberg did fall to us. That's probably my go-to right now, or Juice Scruggs. A little bit of position versatility. Actually, he probably is taken over as my guy. Probably come back to him. Let's see what defensive lineman fell. Cornerback. We already addressed running back. Got a couple of tackles still on the board, obviously. I think I'm going to do that. The versatility that he has, like I said, we're not drafting studs at this point in time, but it's a guy that the Dolphins, they went to his pro day. Like I said, I don't want to draft for need, but it is still a position of need. I'm going to go with Juice. Give me the Juice. Dolphins got familiarity with Juice in the past. Little O.J. McDuffie style, little Jarvis Landry style. Let's carry on the tradition with a little Scruggs style. And now we're really going to be grasping. Picking 238. Obviously, we only made the one trade. We accumulated one extra pick. But, man, what it ended up delivering for us, I really, really like this draft the way it is right now. Let's look best available. Got a couple of projects on the edge there. As you can see, I'll whip quickly through the position by position just so you guys can get an idea. Like I said, we're not making or breaking the NFL draft with our pick here at 238 overall. So we'll continue to go through these fairly quickly. We wouldn't have taken running back. Still got a couple of guys here on the board. Edge. Like I said, a couple of guys I would consider more so projects at the edge, which I'm not opposed to whatsoever at this point in time. I know a lot of you guys already know this. I'm a big Florida Gators fan as well. And I'm intrigued later rounds here by Torrance and Dean. I don't think, like I said, we're 7th round. We're not making or breaking anything here. But the thing about the safety position is that Brandon Jones is a free agent after this year, and DeShon Elliott was signed to a 1-year deal. So yeah, it kind of looks like we're almost set at that position right now. But the fact that within a year, that position could get a lot thinner than it already is. And like I said, we're not drafting for need here, but at the end of the day, I do have some history with a guy like Rashad Torrance. I've seen a lot of his film. I watch every Gators game. So this is probably a little bit biased here. I don't think anyone's going to get crazy over a 7th-round pick, though. So we'll just make him the selection. And then we'll do a quick recap because tell you what, if the draft went this way and we stay put at 51, take Washington, then make that trade in the 3rd, and basically from that trade, turn that into DeMarvin and Overshown and Chase Brown, sign me up. Sign me up already. And then you're still getting a guy on the interior in Juice Scruggs with some versatility there. And then obviously in the 7th, addressing the safety position. But like I said, if you'd have done anything differently, let me know in the comments. I'm all ears. I love the NFL draft. I love talking about it. So go ahead, drop them in the comments. I made reference to the NFL draft player profiles that we've been doing. If you've missed any of them, go back and check them out. And like I said, my goal, I know I don't get around to it every single day, but days that there's not major Dolphins news that we're covering, I always try to get a player profile out. I'm going to be recording a bunch of them just so I can continue to have them and pumping through those. But like I said, get subscribed, give this video a like if you ended up liking how this draft was going. Even if you didn't, go ahead and just give this a like just for the sake of supporting us. But that's what I've got for today, Dolphins fans. And until next time, Fins